There is a curious law at work in life. Value is never created by possessions alone. It is created by consciousness. Many believe they must first have money, status, or recognition in order to feel worthy, refined, or powerful. This belief reverses the true order of things. Life does not reward what you wish for, it reflects what you are. Therefore, you must be expensive in spirit, long before you are wealthy in form. To be expensive is not to be arrogant, loud, or demanding. It is to carry yourself with an inner certainty that you are not here to be wasted. Cheapness is not a lack of money, cheapness is a lack of self-respect. It is saying yes when your soul says no. It is explaining yourself to those who have already decided not to understand you. It is shrinking your standards to avoid discomfort. The moment you stop doing these things, you begin to rise in value without spending a single coin. An expensive person does not chase, they attract. They move with calm decision, not anxious urgency. They understand that what is truly valuable never begs for attention. When you respect your time, others feel it. When you honor your word, doors open quietly. When you refuse what drains you, life begins to offer what nourishes you. This is not strategy, it is alignment. There is a silent dignity in those who know who they are. They do not rush to prove themselves. They do not barter their peace for approval. They do not remain where they are tolerated instead of cherished. This inner posture sends a signal stronger than words. The world responds not to your desires, but to your self-concept. When you see yourself as rare, life rearranges itself to agree. Many wait for external permission to live well. They say, when I have more money, I will dress better, speak better, think better, choose better. But refinement is a decision, not a purchase. You can be precise with your words, even if your pockets are empty. You can be selective with your company, even if you stand alone. You can be clean in thought, disciplined in habit, and rich in expectation without a single outward symbol of wealth. The law is simple. What you treat as precious multiplies. When you treat yourself as valuable, you stop allowing disorder into your life. You stop entertaining what insults your intelligence or dulls your spirit. You begin to expect clarity, respect, and excellence. Not because the world owes you these things, but because you have aligned yourself with them. An expensive mindset refuses to live in contradiction. It does not speak abundance while tolerating chaos. It does not claim self-love while practicing self-betrayal. It chooses quality over quantity in every area. Fewer promises, fewer distractions, fewer excuses. This refinement creates space, and space is where miracles move. You must also understand that the universe responds to conviction. When you act as though your presence matters, it begins to matter. When you carry yourself as though your life has direction, direction appears. When you stop negotiating your worth, circumstances adjust. This is not force, it is faith in action. Do not confuse humility with self-erasure. True humility is knowing your value without needing applause. It is standing firmly without pushing. It is walking away without resentment. When you embody this, you become expensive not only in the eyes of others, but in the language of life itself. Money is attracted to those who already live by the laws of value. Opportunities seek those who do not waste energy. Favor follows those who honor themselves. Before gold appears in your hands, it must first be established in your consciousness. So be expensive in how you speak, how you choose, how you wait, and how you walk away. Be expensive in your standards, your silence, and your expectations of life. Let your inner world be so refined that the outer world has no choice but to rise to meet it. Value is never something the world assigns to you first. It is something you quietly decide about yourself. Long before money enters your hands, it enters your mind. The way you think about yourself becomes the blueprint life follows. People who wait for proof before believing in their worth misunderstand the order of creation. Consciousness always comes first. Circumstances are only its echo. Your self-concept is the silent statement you make to life every day. It is not what you say out loud when you are motivated. It is what you assume when no one is watching. It is how you treat your own time, how you speak to yourself in moments of failure, how much you tolerate from situations that do not honor you. These assumptions operate like laws, not wishes. They move without effort, shaping outcomes automatically. Many people live with a hidden belief that they must earn respect through suffering. They think value comes from being needed, overworked, or endlessly accommodating. This belief keeps them stuck in cycles where they give more and receive less. Life simply agrees with the image they hold. If you see yourself as someone who must struggle to be chosen, struggle becomes your constant companion. To shift this, you do not need money, titles, or recognition. You need a new inner agreement. The moment you decide that your presence is not ordinary, your behavior changes naturally. You stop explaining yourself excessively. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop placing yourself in rooms where you must shrink to fit. These changes are subtle, yet they alter the entire direction of your life. An elevated self-concept is quiet, not dramatic. It does not announce itself or seek validation. It expresses itself through choices. You choose rest without guilt. You choose quality over noise. You choose to pause before responding instead of rushing to please. These small decisions send a powerful signal to the unseen forces that organize experience. People often confuse confidence with personality, but confidence is actually alignment. When who you believe you are matches how you live, friction disappears. You no longer feel the need to perform or pretend. This inner harmony is felt by others instantly. They may not know why, but they treat you differently. Opportunities approach you with less resistance. Respect becomes effortless. Your self-concept also determines what you allow to stay in your life. If you see yourself as valuable, you cannot remain comfortable in chaos. Disrespect begins to feel foreign. Mediocrity becomes uncomfortable. You naturally gravitate toward environments, conversations, and commitments that reflect your inner standard. This is not ambition, it is self-recognition. Money responds to this recognition because money itself is a form of agreement. It flows toward those who already believe they can hold it responsibly. Those who see themselves as temporary, unworthy, or small unconsciously push abundance away. They sabotage opportunities, undercharge their efforts, or accept less than what matches their contribution. The outer result always mirrors the inner assumption. To see yourself as expensive is not to look down on others. It is to stop looking down on yourself. It is to move through life with the understanding that your inner GY is not unlimited and your attention is sacred. When you treat your focus as precious, the world does the same. When you stop wasting yourself, nothing around you feels wasted either. Your inner dialogue matters more than any external action. If you constantly think in terms of lack, urgency, or fear of loss, life organizes itself around those themes. If you begin to think in terms of order, expectation, and quiet trust, life reshapes accordingly. Thoughts are not harmless, they are instructions. A refined self-concept also changes how you experience waiting. Waiting no longer feels like rejection, it feels like preparation. Delays stop triggering insecurity. Silence from others no longer feels like dismissal. You understand that what belongs to you moves toward you without force. This understanding creates peace, and peace is a magnet for right outcomes. You do not become valuable by being visible everywhere. You become valuable by being consistent with who you claim to be inside. When your actions, words, and boundaries align with your inner worth, confusion dissolves. Life responds with clarity. People either rise to meet your standard or quietly fall away. The world is not withholding from you, it is responding to you. Every experience asks a single question: how do you see yourself? The answer is expressed through your tolerance, your patience, your expectations, and your choices. Change the answer, and the response must change. An expensive self-concept does not fear loss because it knows replacement is natural. It does not cling because it trusts flow. It does not chase because it understands direction. This mindset creates stability even before success arrives. Once this inner shift is established, money, respect, and opportunity have a clear channel through which to appear. They are no longer resisted by doubt or contradiction. The outer world simply arranges itself to match the inner declaration you have already made about who you are. Refinement, standards, and boundaries are the invisible currencies of a life lived expensively. They are not purchased with gold or prestige, yet they radiate value more clearly than any material possession ever could. Many people undervalue these qualities because they cannot be weighed or counted. They think wealth is measured only in numbers, Yet true wealth is measured in energy, presence, and the ability to command respect effortlessly. The moment you begin to refine yourself, you begin to magnetize circumstances that honor your worth. Refinement starts with attention to detail, not the details the world imposes, but the details you choose to uphold. It is the gentle care with which you speak, the thoughtfulness with which you act, and the clarity with which you understand your own desires. Refinement is never loud. It is silent authority expressed in every gesture and decision. People sense refinement before they understand it. A single refined action can communicate more about your value than years of talking or proving yourself ever could. Standards are closely linked to refinement. They are the rules you set for yourself that dictate the quality of your experiences. Standards determine the company you keep, the projects you accept, the words you speak, and the way you allocate your time. High standards are not arbitrary, they are declarations of self-respect. They announce to the universe that you will not be diluted, that you will not compromise your peace or your integrity. Living by standards is not rigid, it is deliberate. It requires discernment and courage to say yes selectively and no decisively. Boundaries are the practical application of refinement and standards. They are the invisible fences that protect your energy, your time, and your purpose. Many people mistake boundaries for selfishness, yet boundaries are the framework within which generosity and excellence flourish. When you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You communicate without words that your presence is valuable and that your energy is not free for depletion. Boundaries create space for abundance to enter without interference. Refinement, standards, and boundaries are interdependent. Refinement without standards is charm without direction. Standards without boundaries are ideals without protection. Boundaries without refinement are walls without grace. When all three work in harmony, your life begins to radiate a kind of quiet magnetism that draws the right people, opportunities, and circumstances toward you. It is not manipulation, it is alignment with the natural laws of value and respect. Living expensively means refusing to settle for what diminishes you. It is choosing environments, relationships, and work that reflect your worth. It is refusing to tolerate chaos when clarity is possible, confusion when insight is available, and mediocrity when excellence can be cultivated. The world has no obligation to treat you as rare, yet by cultivating refinement, standards, and boundaries, you create conditions under which rarity is recognized and honored. Others begin to defer to your wisdom, seek your opinion, and honor your time because they sense the energy of someone who knows their own value. Many confuse refinement with superficiality or standards with rigidity, but these qualities are deeply practical. Refinement allows you to navigate complex situations with ease, to speak and act with precision, and to move through life without unnecessary friction. Standards ensure that your energy is invested wisely, that your focus is maintained, and that your attention is not scattered among what is unworthy. Boundaries prevent burnout, resentment, and confusion, allowing you to operate from strength rather than depletion. Together, they create a life that is not only productive, but also inherently respected by the unseen forces that govern opportunity and favor. The people who succeed effortlessly often owe their success less to luck than the invisible structures of refinement, standards, and boundaries they have established. They understand that wealth, influence, and recognition are drawn to those who maintain their value in every decision and interaction. When someone respects their own time and energy, the world conspires to respect it as well. Opportunities flow toward clarity, and clarity is a product of refined standards and protected boundaries. These qualities become a silent language of authority that others instinctively understand, even if they cannot articulate it. Refinement, standards, and boundaries are also protective. Life presents endless distractions, demands, and attempts to pull you into compromise. Without these internal structures, even the most talented, intelligent, or hardworking person can be derailed. The less refined a person is, the more they are tossed by the opinions of others, the pressures of circumstance, and the seductions of convenience. Standards act as a compass, guiding choices toward alignment with purpose. Boundaries act as shields, preserving energy and clarity. Refinement ensures that the journey is graceful, intentional, and effective. Cultivating these qualities begins with observation. Notice where your energy is wasted, where your choices are compromised, and where your presence is diluted. Reflection allows you to identify areas where refinement can be strengthened, standards clarified, and boundaries reinforced. From this awareness, deliberate action follows. You begin to speak less in favor of listening, to choose more in favor of reacting, to protect your time more than you protect approval. Each step reinforces the internal sense of worth, creating a feedback loop that life cannot ignore. To be expensive is not to live in isolation, it is to live in alignment. You may attract admiration, collaboration, and abundance, but these are side effects of the inner architecture you construct. Refinement, standards, and boundaries do not seek to dominate others, they simply declare your value and allow life to respond accordingly. Those who are sensitive to energy notice the difference instantly. They are drawn toward excellence because they recognize it, even if subconsciously. They are repelled by mediocrity because it feels discordant to the presence of someone who honors themselves. Life rewards the person who protects their energy as much as the person who invests it. Refinement ensures that your investment is precise, standards ensure that it is wisely placed, and boundaries ensure that it is not wasted. The interplay of these three qualities allows you to operate with maximum effectiveness, minimal friction, and a quiet, undeniable magnetism. Wealth, opportunity, and respect flow naturally into the orbit of someone who embodies them. The practice of refinement, standards, and boundaries is continuous. Life is dynamic, and the forces that test your value are constant. Those who are truly expensive remain vigilant without Shinn, aware without anxiety, and discerning without judgment. They understand that value is not a fixed measure, it is a living energy that must be nurtured and protected. Each day presents the opportunity to refine your speech, raise your standards, and reinforce your boundaries, strengthening the unseen currency that governs success and influence. When you live this way, you become untouchable in the most graceful sense. Others cannot easily manipulate, diminish, or exploit you because your internal valuation is secure. Your choices become clear, your presence commanding, and your path aligned with abundance. Refinement ensures that your every gesture is meaningful, standards ensure that your decisions are impactful, and boundaries ensure that your energy remains sacred. These qualities operate silently, yet their effects are profound and far-reaching. Life moves in accordance with invisible agreements, and one of the most powerful agreements you can make is to honor yourself as expensive. Boundaries are the practical manifestation of this agreement. They are the declaration to the world that your energy, time, and attention are not free commodities to be squandered on trivialities, negativity, or people who do not recognize your worth. Many believe that boundaries are selfish, but they are actually sacred. They are the protective lines drawn around your inner life so that you can operate with clarity, power, and grace. Without boundaries, even the most talented and ambitious person can be drained, misdirected, or manipulated. Boundaries are not a shield against opportunity. They are a channel that allows the right opportunities to flow freely toward you. Setting boundaries begins with self-awareness. You must first know what depletes you, what confuses you, and what distracts you from your higher purpose. People who live without this awareness often tolerate chaos and settle for situations that lower their energy. They accept disrespect because they have not yet recognized that their presence is valuable. They compromise their peace in the pursuit of approval or acceptance, unaware that life will always reflect the energy they project. Boundaries are the tools that allow you to preserve the energy necessary for alignment with your desires. Boundaries are not merely reactive, they are proactive statements of value. When you establish them, you are not waiting for someone to disrespect you before acting. You are declaring, before any confrontation, that your time, attention, and energy are sacred. This declaration changes the way the world interacts with you. People instinctively sense it, even if they do not consciously recognize it. They begin to adjust, either rising to meet your standard or quietly moving away, leaving you with space for what truly aligns with your worth. An expensive life cannot coexist with overcommitment, people-pleasing, or habitual overextension. Saying yes to everything erodes value because it dilutes your energy and signals that you are available for depletion. Boundaries create selectivity. They allow you to say yes to the right things with full presence and energy while saying no to everything that drains or distracts. This selectivity is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is the natural consequence of respecting the invisible currency of your attention and presence. Boundaries also refine relationships. The people who are meant to be in your life will naturally adjust to the energy of someone who values themselves. They will respect your time, honor your word, and rise to meet the standards you quietly uphold. Those who cannot meet your boundaries will distance themselves, not as punishment, but as natural consequence. Life has a way of clearing space for what is aligned, and boundaries accelerate this process. They are not walls to keep others out. They are gates that allow only what serves your highest good to enter. Clarity in boundaries requires clarity in values. You cannot establish limits without first knowing what matters most to you. Many people drift without this clarity, reacting to external pressures rather than choosing intentionally. Boundaries become a reflection of your priorities, your standards, and your self-respect. They communicate silently that your life has direction and that your energy is not available for chaos or compromise. The universe responds to this clarity, arranging circumstances to align with the energy you project. Boundaries also cultivate our peace. When you honor your own limits, you release the tension that comes from overextending, over-explaining, or over-compromising. You no longer live in fear of judgment, loss, or rejection, because your self-respect creates a foundation that cannot be shaken by external opinion. This peace becomes a magnet for right experiences. When your energy is unbroken by unnecessary depletion, life finds ways to flow abundance toward you effortlessly. Boundaries enhance productivity. Energy is the currency of creation, and when it is mismanaged or scattered, results are diminished. People who fail to set boundaries often find themselves exhausted, distracted, and reactive. Those who understand their value protect their energy rigorously. They schedule their attention with precision, remove unnecessary obligations, and prioritize what truly matters. This intentionality amplifies output, effectiveness, and impact. Life rewards those who operate with focused energy rather than scattered effort. Boundaries also reinforce self-esteem. Every time you choose yourself over convenience, integrity over approval, or peace over chaos, you reinforce the invisible message that you are valuable. This reinforcement builds a self-concept that is unshakable. It becomes impossible to tolerate situations, people, or habits that contradict your worth because your inner standard has become non-negotiable. Boundaries are the structures that allow this standard to manifest tangibly in your life. The most expensive people are those who are disciplined in their boundaries without rigidity or fear. They understand that flexibility is required for growth, but compromise is never made at the expense of their core energy. They can accommodate change, navigate conflict, and negotiate relationships without losing themselves because their boundaries are rooted in self-awareness, purpose, and self-respect. This balance creates an aura of effortless authority and magnetism. Boundaries also protect mental clarity. A mind that is constantly bombarded by unwanted influences, conflicting priorities, and unnecessary drama cannot operate effectively. By maintaining boundaries, you preserve space for reflection, intuition, and strategic decision-making. This clarity allows you to respond rather than react, to create rather than chase, and to attract rather than plead. A clear mind is one of the most visible markers of an expensive presence because it communicates competence, calm, and direction. Every boundary you set is an act of self-definition. Life constantly tests your assumptions about your worth, your limits, and your priorities. Without boundaries, these tests are confusing and depleting. With boundaries, every interaction, opportunity, or challenge becomes a mirror that confirms or adjusts your internal value system. Boundaries create a framework in which life operates smoothly, energy is preserved, and growth is accelerated. They are not obstacles, they are catalysts for expansion. Boundaries teach others how to engage with you, but they also teach you how to engage with yourself. They clarify what is acceptable, what is aligned, and what is worth pursuing. They allow you to navigate relationships, work, and life with intention rather than reaction. Every no spoken with calm authority strengthens your inner value and communicates to life that you are not available for depletion. Every yes chosen with discernment amplifies your energy and opens space for opportunity. Boundaries create a rhythm of engagement that mirrors the energy of someone who is expensive in both presence and action. Boundaries, when combined with refinement and high standards, form an invisible armor that supports every area of life. They protect your peace, your focus, your energy, and your direction. They do not isolate, they attract. They do not limit, they clarify. They transform the way the world responds to you. People begin to sense the value of your presence before any word are spoken. Opportunities appear without force. Respect flows naturally. Life, in its unseen workings, recognizes the architecture of your energy and aligns accordingly.